It's one of the great ironies of our time. A faster shipping route has just opened between Asia and Europe, cutting the journey from 48 days down to just 19. But it's only possible because the Arctic is melting, giving humanity unprecedented access to a stretch of ocean that was once permanently frozen. This warming climate has unlocked a new frontier of global trade and energy transport, and at the center of it all is Russia, rapidly expanding its reach into the Arctic with one of the most ambitious infrastructure projects on the planet. What was once a desolate, icy wilderness is now being transformed into a sprawling industrial powerhouse, home to a $110 billion megaport on the remote Taymyr Peninsula. This port is more than just another oil terminal, it's being dubbed the largest energy construction project in the modern era. At full scale, it'll house Russia's biggest Arctic oil terminal and serve as the beating heart of a new trade artery that connects Europe and Asia through the top of the world. But building in the Arctic isn't easy. Before construction on the port could even begin, Russia had to create an entire ecosystem of infrastructure from scratch. That means new highways stretching across the frozen tundra, 2 new airports, multiple power stations, and 15 newly constructed villages, all built to support the 400,000 workers needed for this colossal undertaking. So far, more than 18,000 tons of heavy equipment, housing units, and communication gear have been delivered to the site, with much more on the way. To carry the extracted oil from the remote fields to the coast, a 770-kilometer pipeline is under construction. Once it reaches the Arctic Ocean, the oil will be transported via 10 state-of-the-art ice-class tankers, specifically engineered to navigate through the region's thick, unpredictable sea ice. And here's where things really escalate. When fully operational, this port will ship out 25 million tons of oil annually by 2025. By 2030, that figure will quadruple to 100 million tons. It's a staggering amount of fossil fuel, and it flies in the face of global climate pledges. Yet, from an economic perspective, the potential profits are astronomical. Russia isn't just chasing energy dominance, it's attempting to reshape global trade routes and cement itself as a key player in Arctic logistics, transport, and infrastructure. The megaport is just one component of a much larger plan, the Northern Sea Route Development Strategy, first announced in 2018. This long-term vision seeks to transform the Arctic corridor into a full-fledged alternative to the Suez Canal. As the summer ice retreats due to climate change, the Northern Sea Route becomes increasingly navigable. Russia's goal is to boost cargo traffic along this passage to at least 72 million tons annually by 2035, and they're well on their way. In 2018 alone, cargo flow surged by 80%, reaching 16 million tons, and then rose again to 23 million tons the following year. To support this rapid growth, Russia has begun modernizing its Arctic infrastructure at breakneck speed. Ports are being upgraded, new container ships with reinforced hulls are being commissioned, and a flurry of railways and roads are being laid across the Siberian north. International players are taking notice. Russian energy giant Rosatom has teamed up with UAE-based DP World to co-develop ports at Murmansk and Vladivostok, each situated on opposite ends of the Northern Sea Route. These ports are being designed with a dual system in mind, to handle both ice-class vessels and standard cargo ships, allowing seamless transfer of goods year-round. China, too, has expressed immense interest. As part of its broader Belt and Road initiative, Beijing is working closely with Moscow on what they call the Arctic Silk Road. The two countries have signed over 20 bilateral agreements, with China pledging to build new docks at multiple northern Russian ports and invest in long-overdue upgrades to accommodate large-scale trade volumes. And it's not just ports. Russia is constructing a 500-kilometer railway to connect the Ural Mountains to key Arctic hubs, ensuring year-round logistics capacity. To tie it all together, the nation recently completed installation of a new $889 million fiber optic cable system, fittingly named the Polar Express. This 12,600-kilometer line runs from Teribaka to Vladivostok, improving digital connectivity for the 2.5 million residents of Russia's Arctic regions. Dozens of civilian airports are also being revitalized, including Amderma in the western Piv, Chusky, and Kepavayam in the east. Meanwhile, the Gulf of Ob is being dredged to allow passage for larger ships, and Russia is building an entire fleet of new Arctic vessels, 40 in total, including 8 nuclear-powered icebreakers and 16 support ships. Among these are the Leader-class icebreakers, massive ships capable of plowing through thick, multi-year Arctic ice. These vessels will literally clear a path for commercial fleets, ensuring reliable access through increasingly trafficked sea routes. Of course, this surge in Arctic development hasn't gone unnoticed. The United States and other global powers have raised concerns about Russia's growing control over the Northern Sea route. While much of the passage falls within Russia's exclusive economic zone, international law still considers it a global strait. Yet, Russia's ambitions are clear, and they're betting that foreign investment, especially from countries that benefit from faster trade, will override geopolitical tensions. Russia has gone to great lengths to reassure the world that its Arctic megaprojects will be environmentally responsible. According to officials, the oil terminals will rely heavily on wind energy, and operations are being designed to limit hydrocarbon emissions. But many environmental groups remain skeptical. Some of the oil fields lie within protected nature reserves, and construction risks permanently damaging Arctic ecosystems. The irony isn't lost on critics. Melting ice due to climate change is unlocking new ways to extract and ship more oil, which in turn accelerates global warming. Russia, the world's fourth largest emitter of greenhouse gases, ratified the Paris Agreement in 2019 and pledged net zero carbon emissions by 2060. But critics argue that these infrastructure projects, centered around fossil fuel extraction, undermine those goals. Notably, Russia has yet to commit to phasing out coal or methane emissions in the short term. Still, there's no denying that the Arctic is changing, and with it, so is the world. As the 21st century progresses and ice continues to recede, the Northern Sea route may reshape global commerce in ways we can hardly imagine. New cities may rise, new alliances may form, and the top of the world could become the next epicenter of human industry. What was once a frozen wilderness might soon become the crossroads of the modern world. If you found this deep dive insightful and want to stay updated on the biggest infrastructure and geopolitical transformations of our time, make sure to subscribe to Visionary Mind, where construction meets the future.